Oh, great. Yeah. Okay. Good morning. I hope everyone's feeling well. Where I am, there is a springy feel, which is very welcome. So, today we'll be really focusing on breath and breath development. So, as always, grabbing a nice, stable, sturdy chair that allows for, if possible, so I have a blanket on here so that my hips can be higher than my knees. So there's a slight downward slope of my thighs. And we'll just take our stable, steady seat. Really feel your sit bones grounded into the chair. And we'll just bring our attention to the body and sort of how it aligns naturally without any cueing. So just taking maybe actual physical look at your body and noticing the ways that you're organized. Like as I look down, I can see that my right foot's a little bit further behind my left. So I'm going to scoot my left foot a little bit back and make sure that my feet are really even. We'll get all of our foundations set here at the beginning. And then really much of the focus will be on the thoracic spine and the shoulders and the neck, as we really would like to open up space for breath and see if we can soften some of the muscles of the rib cage and around the rib cage that may restrict our ability to really pull in breath and have lots of air coming into the lungs. So feeling the feet, pay attention to the four corners of the feet grounded, possibly lifting the toes and actively pressing the feet down into the floor. And really take that effort at full go. So in most of the times I'm saying 40 to 60%, this time take 100%. Really try to press down through all four corners and just notice what that does to the feet. And notice where it's really easy to put a lot of effort. Like for me, the ball of the foot is really easy, but to ground to the outside edge of my foot, I really have to add more emphasis to. Throughout the rest of the class, the area that's a little bit harder for you to press down into, really add extra attention there to ground the foot. With the toes lifted and the four corners grounded, then we'll ground just the big toe and broaden across the foot and really set our foundation. And then bring your attention to your hips and pelvis and pelvic floor and just notice the activation or lack of activation there. And on an inhale, really squeeze the glutes. So we're contracting the glute muscles and squeezing them. And notice left to right, what's different side to side. So for me, the right glute will really easily clench and it's more active, and I can have more felt awareness on the right side than the left. And so the left is a little bit weaker and less activated. So I'll add a little bit more effort there on the left. So same thing as the feet, noticing what is going on with the glutes and the pelvis, what's your natural habits, so you can add emphasis to the weaker activations. Okay, release the glute activation, activate the glute activation, and ground the feet down. And then with both of those efforts, soften the activation to 40 to 60%. So there's still an activation happening, but it's not 100% gripping or activated. There's a gentle, stable effort. And then bring emphasis to the pelvic floor, which is a hammock muscle at the base of the pelvis, and lift gently in and up. Good, so this is our foundation. We'll then bring hands to the pelvis at the hip bones. And we'll take a few pelvic tilts, so tilting all the way forward and arching all the way back. I'll come to the side angle so that you can see that a little bit better. Tilting forward, arching the back, pressing back and forth between those two extremes of the pelvis. So if you've got some tightness in the low back, just this movement of the pelvis can help to release some of that. Keep the feet grounded and the glutes gently activated. Good. So just noticing what extremes are available, and then sort of let that movement become a little bit more rounded. So you're tilting forward and back, but also circling around. So just getting a little freedom in the pelvis. Actually, I like to add a little bit of gentle pressure into the areas that feel restricted as I'm moving, warming up this area. Good, and then back to the forward and back action of the pelvis, and start to make that action smaller and smaller. And we're after finding a neutral lumbar curve. So neither arched and pressing back or overarched, but right in the center. So there's an action of the low belly that lifts the hip bones and balances the pelvis. So finding a balanced pelvis and maintaining those foundations that we've already set of the feet and the glutes gently activated and the pelvis balanced. Okay, so now that we've got a solid foundation, bring your attention to breath, and we'll take 5 big deep breaths in. And just notice, like I just did there, if there's lots of movement in the chest, where the breath moves in the torso as you take your first few big breaths. And really just exploring the different ways that you could bring lots of breath in and press lots of breath out. So this is initial assessment is connecting us to what are our habituated patterns. How do we normally do this before we move into some specific details of how we like to train our movement patterns to be doing this. Good. And then we'll take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. And as you exhale out of the mouth, squeeze all the breath out. And this will sort of automatically activate your transverse abdominals, especially at the top. And that's going to bring the rib cage back in space and hopefully align the rib cage right over the hip bones. And then let's broaden through the shoulders by taking the shoulders back and down and really thinking about as wide of a shoulder upper back area as you could have. And then we'll add our alignment for the head, which is a movement of the chin towards the center of the throat and an extension through the back of the crown. And see if any change, take another 5 breaths or so, see if any change happens just from really consciously aligning the spine in the upper back and neck and broadening across the back, if that brings a little bit more spaciousness for breath. 5 big deep breaths. Keep going. So when it comes to the benefits of yoga and how it supports us for working with mental and emotional health, states of anxiety and depression, it really comes down to this connection to the breath. So that's why we'll add so much emphasis on really developing the breath and spaciousness for breath today, in hopes that it can become a tool for you to work with those states to really find a sense of connection to the present moment. Good. So if any of those activations that we've addressed so far, feet, pelvis, rib cage, shoulders, head, feel like an over effort or strain, see on your next exhale if you're able to just soften some of that effort and come to a posture that feels fairly easeful. And then release your hands down to either side of the chair, and we'll take several big shoulder rolls. So shoulders come up and back and down. So as you're moving your shoulders back, you're really broadening through the chest. As you come down, you're really extending, lengthening through the tops of the shoulders. And as you come up through the front, you're broadening across the back and really getting some movement through the back body. And keep going. And the next few rounds bring in awareness to how you're connecting the movement and the breath together. Working towards inhaling as you come up and exhaling as you're back around and down. So just moving through the inside of any pain or strain, not pressing to end range. Good. And next time you bring your shoulders up towards your ears, leave them there and really squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears and make fists with the hands. So squeeze the shoulders up and squeeze the fists, even trying to squeeze the biceps and the forearms and the backs of the arms. Take a deep inhale and really fill the lungs. And on your exhale, exhale out of the mouth and drop all of that tension. So releasing it out of the hands and the arms, shaking the arms out. We'll do that 2 more times. So sometimes these areas that tend to hold a lot of tension, taking more tension there, squeezing the shoulders, squeezing the back, squeezing the hands. Inhaling and holding it, and then exhaling out of the mouth and releasing. Good. Shake it out 1 more time. Shoulders lift, back squeezes, hands come fists. Arms are holding tension. Squeeze it, and then on your next exhale, let it all go. This is a great way to get some circulation going. And then we'll bring our hands to the neck, and we'll just do a little gentle soft tissue work on the neck. So the base of the back of the skull and down the back of the neck. Just noticing if the hands are cold or warm, and bringing some of that gentle palpating into the tops of the shoulders. It's really amazing how much we can soothe ourselves with our own touch. So just really feeling the connection of your hands on your neck and exploring what you can learn about the tension in the neck, and then coming down and to the front. And then even lifting the chin and massaging the front of the throat a bit. Good. And then we'll work some more on mobility at the neck, bringing the chin towards the chest and looking down at the abdomen. And while we're looking down, we'll start to add more of a specific breath pattern in place. So breath fills low into the belly and then moves up the torso. So we'll take about 5 or 6 breaths here, seeing if you can set in a pattern of breath of low to high, while also releasing the back of the neck and the tops of the shoulders. Good. And on your exhales, letting the elbows get heavy and releasing the tops of the shoulders. Seeing if the chin can come a little bit further towards the chest. And then with the chin towards the chest, we'll roll to your left and bring the left ear to the left shoulder and really lengthen through the side of the right side of the neck. Still keeping a breath pattern of low to high. Good. And then chin back to chest and to the other side. So left ear, right ear to right shoulder, really letting the left elbow get heavy, lengthening through the side of the neck and the top of the shoulder. And then chin comes back to chest, really exploring the side, the back range of motion a few times, coming from one side to the other. Now there's some real action where I am, sirens and dogs howling. I'm sorry about that. Good. And next time your chin comes to your chest, bring your head up to a level and ramping the head, chin towards the center of the throat, extension through the back of the crown. Really good. So continuing with the low to high breath pattern, we'll add some more specifics to the breath. So breath is as much as possible in and out of the nose. And I'll offer a mouth position that you could maintain throughout the rest of class. The lips are touching, the tongue is flat and broad on the roof of the mouth, behind the top row of teeth. And then the teeth stay slightly parted. And then with the tongue resting on the top of the mouth, you could add a gentle, consistent vacuuming action between the tongue and the roof of the mouth. So this is developmentally based and really helps to open up the breathing passages. So if that causes you any difficulty or doesn't make sense, just keep the tongue flat and broad on the roof of the mouth without worrying about the vacuuming action. And just as you take your breaths in, notice, does the chest rise? Does more breath tend towards the sides? How is the breath moving in your torso? And try to add some conscious effort to fill low in the belly and the sides, and then into the side ribs, and then towards the area of the upper back and shoulders. And for a few breaths, this is our only focus. And then on your next inhale, really feeling that the inhale comes in and down. And as you transition from inhale to exhale, add some attention to that transition, trying to make it as smooth as possible. So you're inhaling, filling, attending a transition that has no pause. And then as you exhale and you're meeting the transition of exhale to inhale, there can be just the briefest of pauses at the bottom before you inhale and come up. So we're taking a smooth, deep, even breath. And this is really important for, believe it or not, the heart. So as we have pauses in the breath, it can actually add strain to the heart. So taking this really smooth, steady breath takes some of the strain and the work off of the heart. Good. So we'll take 5 more breaths where all we're focusing on is the pattern of breath, low to high, and smooth transitions. There's still lots to take into account of the positioning and the posture of the body, but we're focusing our attention on breath. Good. And with the eyes, we'll bring some focus to the eyes. So holding the eyes on a single point of focus. You can be just above your screen so that you're still able to keep me in your view, but the eyes stay really focused. And this has an effect of turning your sense of sight inward so that you can really begin to pay all of the attention to the breath that we're after. Okay, and releasing the hands to the side, we'll add in some more gentle movement to release some more through the upper back and shoulders. So lifting the shoulders up and then back and setting the scapula down in the back, broaden through the hands as you have them relaxed at either side. So you're sending energy down into your palms and lengthening your arms in 2 directions. And by that I mean reaching down with the fingertips and also gently reaching up with the head of the arm bone. And broadening. And we'll start with an overhead action coming in front. So all of the alignments we've addressed so far are in place. As you inhale and come up, arms come overhead, reaching the edge of that possible range of motion, and then coming down. So rather than trying to get the arms all the way up in a way that causes movement to happen in the rib cage and the back, just start to feel where there's any resistance in the movement of the shoulder. Stop there and come down. Inhaling up, smooth transition, just like in the breath, in the movement, and exhaling down. Eyes stay focused, feet stay grounded. All of the effort to stabilize in the low body is building strength. and stability while we're mobilizing the upper body. Good, and exhale, coming back down. Next time you come up, arms come up and out to the side, moving into the overhead position, coming out to the side, exhaling back down out to the side, and then on the next repetition, coming up in front. So we're alternating between coming overhead and front on an inhale, and then exhale, and then up and out to the sides on an inhale and exhale. Good, keep moving in this way, really paying attention to the feet and where you had to add emphasis at the beginning of class, and attention to a subtle activation in the glutes as we addressed at the beginning of class. And then keeping the arms broadened and lengthened in both directions. So this is creating a sense of spaciousness at the shoulder, especially if you start to add some reaching actions from the hands. So like you're trying to make the range of motion just a little bit bigger than the last time. So your circle out to the sides is just slightly bigger than the last time because you're reaching, creating space at the shoulder joint. But a few more times. If there tends to be an area of your body that wants to wiggle or twitch, just allow that to happen and see if you can stabilize it from the feet and the extension through the back of the crown of your head. One more time each direction. And really reaching out to the sides. And back down. And resting your hands on your thighs as you come to rest. Taking a few deep breaths with our low to high pattern. And just letting the shoulders soften and any tension built up from that movement to release. And now we'll add some adaptability and dynamic capacity to the breath by switching the pattern. So we've been breathing low to high. Now breathe from high to low. But rather than the front of the chest moving a lot with that high to low breath, think about breath moving in the area of the upper back and shoulders and into the side bodies. So breath fills high first and then moves low. Passive exhale, smooth transitions. So these moments where we're focusing on breath and attention to breath are really a practice of meditation and a practice of building our capacity to hold our attention on what we'd like to. So we're developing our capacity to focus. So just noticing if the mind wanders about to different tasks or judgments, and just return your attention back to feeling and sensing the breath. You can add some additional grounding by bringing your attention to your sense of smell as you inhale and fill high to low and transition to exhale. Next time that you inhale and fill from high to low, inhale and fill as much as possible and hold the inhale in. Seeing if you can soften the chest and soften the belly and then soften the exhale. We'll do that 2 more times. So this holding after inhale is really energizing, and it can help us to soften some of the tension that we're holding in the chest and the belly if we consciously relax those areas. Inhaling, fill. Soften internally and then soften the exhale. Last time. Good. And release the pause after inhale and take a smooth, steady breath. Good. And bringing your hands to the chest, you can just place one on top of the other and really let the elbows reach down towards the floor. Keep all the alignments in place we've established before now. And we'll rotate through the thoracic. The belly button stays pointing forward. On your inhale, you'll rotate through the spine to the right and exhale back to center. And inhale, rotate through the upper spine to the left and exhale back to center. So as much as possible, all the movement happens in the upper thoracic. You're sort of reaching with the shoulder that's leading the way and coming back to center and then the other direction. Good. So now eyes stay centered up in chest as if they were fixed right in front of you, and just taking in all of the things that your eyes scan across as you move from one direction to the other. So eyes stay still in the eye sockets. And back to center. Next time you go to the right, hold at the end position. So without moving the head or trying to twist more, just find where your end range is and hold. And take a few deep breaths, high to low there. Kayla, could we be sure that we're muted out? Good, and exhale, coming back to center, and then rotating the other direction. Head stays right at the center of the chest. There's this tendency to want to twist more, but just find where the honest end range of your thoracic is. No movement in the lower body, lots of stability here. Few high to low deep breaths. And then let your next exhale float you back to center. Hands release down towards the chest. And we'll take a few deep inhales, switching again the breath pattern from low to high. So if you are currently working with states of anxiety and high stress, high cholesterol, or any of those things that are stress related, breathing from low to high. I meant to say cortisol. Feeling low to high. Good. Well, we've focused on the sense of smell, and we've focused your sense of sight. Now bring your attention to your sense of hearing. And direct your sense of hearing towards the breath and just noticing any pauses or jerks. Although this focus on breathing can seem really simple, possibly even boring, it is so vital and important to our health and well-being that I just have to add emphasis and leave plenty of time for you to really explore deeply sensing and feeling your breath. Because not only are we building our capacity for breath and increasing our oxygen conversion, we're building a muscle memory with the diaphragm, which can pull breath in. So rather than feeling like breath is happening from here, feel like breath is happening from here at your center, pulling air in as you inhale and the muscle contracts, and releasing air out as you relax and the muscle relaxes. A meditative focus on the breath, low to high. If you notice that there's still difficulty maintaining your attention on the breath, you can add a count to the breath. Inhaling for a count of 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll keep going with that really focused attention on the breath. And I'll keep providing this count of an inhale for 3 and an exhale for 4. I'm doing this because of the tendency of mind to wander. And for almost as soon as you begin to focus, this tendency to leave again. So staying focused on my voice, your sense of hearing and the breath and of my voice, and seeing if you can maintain this steady, smooth count. So if you'd like to follow the count, we'll inhale and exhale to prepare. And inhale for a count of 1, 2, 3. Smooth transition. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going, seeing if you can add more emphasis to breath moving in the back of your body. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really good. Take a steady breath, or maybe it feels like a big inhale and exhale would release some energy, and maybe even a yawn, creating some space at the back of the throat to really expand. And if you kind of take that start of a yawn and open the back of the throat, before you know it, a real yawn happens. And this really opens up all of your breathing passages. Bringing the hands broadened at your side, we'll move back into that pattern we started with, inhaling arms up in front to the edge of your range of motion, and exhaling back down, and alternating out to the side, and then back down. And now we'll add the count. So inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Bringing hands to the thighs, releasing the shoulders, taking a few shoulder rolls. We'll now, again, switch the pattern of breath from being low to high to being high to low. So inhaling, filling the lungs all the way up, and then any excess of breath capacity you have fills down into the belly. We'll keep going with that 3 second in, 4 second out. Noticing, I'll add the count again, noticing if your breath capacity has changed over the course of this practice. If before 3 seemed like a stretch, but now it's easy, or 3 seemed about right, and now you can possibly go to 4. So really press the edge of what's possible with your capacity for these next few breaths. Inhale and exhale to prepare. I'll give the count of inhaling for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding in stillness, focus on the breath. 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, upper back fills, side ribs down to the belly. 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 more breaths with your full attention. 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Keep that breath pattern going. So we'll again switch now from breathing from high to low to breathing from low to high. So belly fills first. So notice how it feels to try to change consciously the breath pattern, the way that the breath is filling in your body. So low to high. Is there one way or the other that gives you more spaciousness? Is there one way or the other that creates more of a sense of tension? And if that's the case, switch to the one that feels more supportive to you. But we'll be breathing together from low to high, and we'll add a pause to the breath after inhale. So after really training the breath and calming the nervous system and working with that 3 second, 4 second smooth transition breath, adding a pause after inhale can add an energizing effect and really support oxygenating the blood and moving lots of this fresh oxygen and life force energy that we're breathing in into our whole system. So inhale and exhale to prepare, and inhale low to high for 2, 3. Pause for 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Brief pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Brief pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. See if you can find your heartbeat in this pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 breaths with your full attention. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Sense your heartbeat for 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, find the heartbeat. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Inhale for a count of 3. No pause. Exhale for a count of 4. Smoothing out the transitions of breath again. So these practices of deep focus on the breath and the breath count and the breath pattern and rhythm, they can really slow down time. And in a way, they slow down the heart rate, which you can use when you're doing this on your own as a way of counting. If you can become deeply sensitive to the heartbeat, it can be the count that really keeps this rhythm to the breath. So much of our function as humans is about rhythm. So there's the rhythms of the day and the night. You could think of the inhale as the day and the exhale as the night. And we're creating these smooth transitions. And really, where much of the difficulty with breath is in the transitions. And so a really great time to practice this is at the transitions of day. So when you first wake up in the morning and we're transitioning from night to day, really adding emphasis to inhale and holding after inhale to energize like we're doing now. And then in the evening time, from transition from day to night, adding emphasis to exhale and more of a pause after exhale to really calm the nervous system down and prepare your body for sleep. This way of checking in with the nervous system and establishing an internal rhythm helps to set all of the functions of our body that have to do with rhythm. So our circadian rhythm and our sleep cycles, our digestion, and really allowing for the nervous system to calm, to go into that rest and digest state so that we can process the food that we've eaten and the emotions that have arisen during the day and all the events that have taken place. All of that has to be digested. And the more we have this capacity to really breathe in the conscious way and calm the system down, the more we'll be able to support ourselves during times of transition. So taking a few breaths here, just noticing what your natural pattern is. And as we finish up class, I'll end with a breath that feels low to high, seeing if you can maintain throughout your day as much as possible, maybe even as you go into your next exciting event, maintain this subtle awareness on a breath that's really smooth and steady. In the teachings of yoga, the foundation of all of that is an awareness and a connection to your own breath. If you've forgotten your breath, then returning to the breath and relaxing the body is the pathway back to the present moment. Thank you all so much for your focus and attention and your willingness to try this practice that's really simple in action, but very profound in effect. So thank you all so much. You're welcome. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.